Hey friends, it's Quinby, the Grateful Queen, here on YouTube, and today's video is all about what I'm thinking about scaling and growing my reselling business without employees or a warehouse so that I can make more money and grow the business. This video is a little different than what you often see on my channel. Usually I'm doing a ThredUp unboxing or a thrift haul and I have lots of stuff to show you. This is going to be more of a talking video, so hopefully it's something that you listen to while you're listing or taking photos or something. If you happen to be new to the channel, I'm so glad you found me. I'm Quinby. I'm a part-time reseller. I've been selling for 9 years. I've been selling for 9 years on eBay, 2 years on Poshmark. And this channel is all about reselling. There's a lot of educational videos, a lot of yard sale vlogs, and retail arbitrage, some wholesale unboxing, lots of different reselling content. So I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button and joining, and make sure to hit the little bell so you know when I go live, like I do on Fridays on the channel, and I do some pop-up stuff too. And we'd love to have you as part of our community. So I got some notes, so here we go. I'm gonna dive into this subject and just tell you guys what I'm thinking about. It's gonna help me to clarify my thoughts by sharing it with you, and maybe some of the things I'm thinking about might help you and inspire you in your reselling business. So I've been reselling 9 years. Now I am filming this in July 2020, and I am just a part-time reseller, but I run this as a business. It earns extra money, and it's a business I love, and I'm always interested in growing and making more money and keeping it fresh and interesting for myself. Now, many of you know that one very common way to grow your business is to rent a warehouse space, hire some employees, and start ordering mass quantities of things to sell. I'm primarily a clothing reseller, and it is a little bit harder, I think, to scale as a clothing reseller, as a fashion reseller, you know, shoes, belts, hats, clothing and accessories, but it is possible. I've grown my business in a lot of ways. So I'm going to tell you the things that I've done to grow my business already, and then the things that I'm thinking about to grow my business even further. I, at this time, am not interested in renting an expensive warehouse space or storage unit or even an office, and I'm not at the point in my business where I want to hire employees. If you are, I think that's amazing and I admire it, and maybe I'll meet you there one day, but for right now, that's not quite where I'm at. That's expensive. You need capital to do things like secure yourself a warehouse space or an office. And then you have to work on managing employees. And that's not easy, managing people. And you have to have liability insurance, all sorts of things. I might grow to that point, but I'm not quite there yet. Right now, I'm still interested in working on my own. I'm an introvert. I love being at home alone, being my own boss, making my own schedule. I don't want to deal with a lot of other personnel at this time. That could change, but this is where I'm at now. And I think a lot of you will relate to this, that you're also just a one-person business. Maybe you're a couple, but you're essentially like a one-person business. You don't have a lot of employees. You're not ready for that step yet. So what can you do to earn more money and grow right now? So you can define growth, you guys, in a lot of different ways. For a lot of us, it's about making more money. I would love to make more money. So growth is definitely about earning more money. Growth for me is also about other things, though. It's about continuing to grow my business, which is very satisfying for me. It's about learning new things, taking some risks, experimenting. So I want to grow in those ways as well. So let me outline some of the things that I've done so far as a one-person operation to grow, because maybe they'll help you. Towards the end, I'm going to share things that I am researching, that I have done some research on, but I haven't yet started myself, but that might be where my business is moving. Okay, one of the first things that I've done already is that I hired a virtual assistant. I've had a virtual assistant for about a year, and I've used her in different ways. I've had several virtual assistants. Some did not work out, but the one that I have now I've had for maybe 6 or 8 months, and it's going pretty well. I've hired a virtual assistant using Upwork. Upwork, you can go on Upwork online and search for somebody that has experience with online sales, e-commerce. And there's plenty of people, and you can interact with them before you hire them. You can ask questions. Upwork is really user friendly. So one of the reasons it's great is that I hire someone who's in another country, so it's a win-win. This can be controversial. I'm not here to get into a big political discussion with you, but I'll say it this way because I've studied this quite a lot. My undergraduate work was in sociology, and so this was something, hiring someone from another country was something we debated often. But it's kind of a win-win because I can pay her a wage that feels fair to her and is really great amount for her in her country, and for me it's inexpensive here, and I feel good doing that because it's really pretty simple data entry work. I don't want to pay a lot for that. My virtual assistant that I hired through Upwork does Poshmark sharing for me, so she shares my closet twice a day. Poshmark is okay with you hiring a virtual assistant, a human being. They don't want you hiring a bot, a robot to go in and share for you, but they are okay with having an assistant or something. I also hire her to make my eBay listings. The reason this is so great is that it frees me up to do other things. So building a listing is pretty easy work that almost anyone can do. If you don't want to go through Upwork, you might be able to hire, maybe you have a retired parent, or maybe you have a high school student in your area that wants to learn a little extra cash. You don't have to pay a ton of money because it's really simple work that almost anyone can learn to do. You do have to train them a little bit, either with a video or with some notes, so they learn the way you like to do that. But that frees up time so I can do other things like YouTube. I love doing YouTube. YouTube is something I do for my business to grow, but in different ways. It's not something that makes me a lot of money, but it fulfills a part of me that wants to connect and be a part of a reseller community and offer education. I just really love doing it, but it is time consuming, so it takes away from my reselling business. So I have to find other ways, like, okay, I'm gonna hire a virtual assistant so I have an extra hour a day to work on my new YouTube channel. So that's been a really great way. It frees up time and it gets a lot done for me. I can list more because she's helping me build the listing. She puts the pictures in, the details. I go in and do a final edit. I add things and correct things, and I add the price. So hiring a virtual assistant, you can look into that more. You can ask questions, leave them in the comments so other people can learn too. I'm happy to offer more education on that, and there's a ton of other information out there available already on the internet, Instagram, on YouTube. But hiring a virtual assistant is something you might want to look into if you want to scale and grow. Another thing that has been huge for me in scaling and growing is using a cross-posting service. I use Vendoo. There are other ones out there. I just haven't used them, so I can't speak to them. But Vendoo is a service. I pay a monthly fee. You can start for as low as like $19.99 a month, depending on how many things you want to cross-list. This has allowed me to grow my business and make more money because I build one listing, let's say on eBay, then I go on Vendoo, and in about 1 minute, I can cross-post it to Poshmark. So my same item gets eyes on it from eBay and Poshmark. You don't have to stop there. You can also cross-post it to Mercari, to Etsy, to Grail, all these other sites. So that's just smart business, right? Because you're taking the time to take pictures of your item and build a listing for it. Why not have that same listing appear on different platforms? More chance of a sale, more sales. I've definitely seen an increase in my sales already. I've been using Poshmark. I've been using Vendoo maybe like 3 or 4 months. I talk about it a lot because it's been a total game changer. In reselling for 9 years, nothing has changed my business more than using a cross-listing service. I do have a link in my description section. There's lots of helpful links down there. But it's for 25% off if you want to give it a try. I highly, highly recommend it. I know some people are intimidated by it. People have questions, but I'm telling you guys, cross-post, cross-list. The other thing that I do that's been a game changer with Vendoo is delete old stale listings and relist them. That's been huge for me too. I am selling so many things that have been sitting stale in my eBay store for like 6 months. I go onto Vendoo, I delete it completely, and then I just hit the button that says relist, and it goes back on as a new listing, and things are selling. So definitely, if you want to grow your business, to make more money, have more time, consider a virtual assistant and consider a cross-listing service like Vendoo. You definitely want to do it. This next one's a little bit surprising. One of the benefits and things that I have learned during stay at home, and I'm in Northern California, you guys. I'm filming this in July 2020. I don't know when you'll be watching this, but thrift stores have been closed because of the pandemic, never opened in my area. So for 4 months, I've not been able to source by thrifting. That is huge, right? How could I run my online business without sourcing, without thrifting? Well, I've learned to do it all online, and it's been a tremendous benefit that I want to share with you guys, because going out thrifting, whether you do it once a week, every day, a few times a week, takes hours. You drive there, you flip through the rocks. It's a little bit exhausting. It's a fantastic treasure hunt and I love it, but it's a lot of work. What if you could eliminate those hours a week that you're spending sourcing by ordering online? I have been ordering online, and it is something I'm going to continue to do even when and if things open in my area and I can thrift again, because it is a great way to get a lot of inventory right to your house, right to your door. It totally eliminates that sourcing time. And what's one of the ways you can grow and make more money in your business? Save time, so you can have more time to list, more time to promote your business, more time to learn and grow. So I have been using all sorts of online sourcing places, especially ThredUp. I've ordered tons of ThredUp mystery rescue boxes. I usually get 20 to 30 items shipped right to my door. The cost of goods is really low. It's usually around $2 an item when I do a ThredUp rescue box. I've also sourced on ThredUp right on their site. So I'll buy like 15 pairs of J. Jill linen wide leg pants because I know those sell well for me, and I get free shipping because I spend over $79, and they all just come to my door. All I have to do is take photos of them, send the photos to my virtual assistant, let her build the listing, and then I do a final look at that listing and I list it. And the more you list, the more money you will make. The more you list on whatever platform you're on, the more money you make. So you want to do whatever you can to make sure you can spend that time sitting in the chair listing. So I've also, and this ties really well into the next one, I've also looked a lot more into wholesale and liquidation. So I'm going to talk to you about why I think this is important. I've done a little bit of it so far with B&G Trading, and I've done some with Joe Marr. And one of the ways I want to grow in the future is to look more into ordering wholesale and liquidation lots online. The reason I think that this is so important and a way I'm going to grow is because it's another way to get inexpensive, large quantities of clothing shipped right to my door. It cuts out a lot of time, and it saves me a lot of time, and I can spend that time photographing and listing and making more money. So one of the things I intend to do in the future, and I'm starting to research it now, is finding more opportunities for wholesale and liquidation. And another reason I think wholesale and liquidation is so important is because I'd like to find a place where I can get multiple quantities of clothing items. So not just one Madewell short sleeve whisper cotton tee, but maybe I can get 5 of them. And the benefit of getting 5 of them through a wholesale or liquidation company is that I only have to build one listing one time, but it's the potential for 5 sales. So it's saving me time. And when I save time, I make more money. I hope that that's one thing you can take from this video, is the understanding that the more time you can save in any one area of your business, the more money you can make. You want to make all your processes as efficient as possible, because it all comes down to being able to list more. And when you can list more, you can sell more. So I'm very excited about the possibility of liquidation and wholesale stuff. I've done a little, and I'd like to grow with that because I'd like to do more multi-quantity listings. So one listing, several items, and the listing can keep working for me, but I only need to spend a little bit of time making that one listing, but hopefully many sales will come from that one listing. The other great thing about wholesale and liquidation lots, and you can do small ones, you can do like 50 items from B&G, or you can do a pallet with thousands of items that comes right to your door. That's a way I think many of us might need to start thinking if we want to grow and scale in the future. Whether you're you're selling clothing or other items. And that's something I'm also thinking about for the future. I got into this gig of reselling online because I love thrift store shopping and I love clothes. But I know that if I want to make significantly more money, I'm going to need to change and grow my business in certain ways. So I may need to consider selling things that are not clothing, that I can get a lot of it shipped right to my door and maybe do multi-quantity listings. For example, a lot of people start selling home goods or makeup or hair and beauty stuff because it's a really easy thing to get like 10 bottles of Diva Curl hair gel and sell them. Is a lot easier than selling unique items, because when you're selling just unique one-off items from the thrift store, which I love to do, it's a lot of time and work. I still plan to thrift because I love it. I still plan to sell clothing primarily because I love it, but I'm thinking a little bit more outside of the box about what are some items that I can get to sell more often that don't require as much listing time and that can bring in some more money into my business and my stores and closets. A lot of people do this with boutique. You see that a lot on Poshmark. So they might do a wholesale order and order like 25 boutique kimonos in all different sizes. They build one Poshmark listing and they let people know the sizes and styles they have available. That saves them time. They get it pretty cheap. They build one listing, but they get multiple sales from that listing. And they can often get these things a lot cheaper. And it's so much easier to photograph and list like one particular type of item even. So a lot of people are doing that. You see it mostly on Poshmark, but on eBay too, with boutique wholesale stuff like that. So that might be an area that you consider. Another benefit of ordering online or ordering wholesale or liquidation stuff is that you can often get new with tags items. New with tags items are really appealing to customers and they can often sell for more. So I'd like to have a combination of like thrifted stuff, vintage stuff, and some new with tags items. And often you're just gonna save money if you can buy things in bulk. Your unit price, your cost of goods is so much lower if you buy like 25 things than if you buy one item. So I think these are just different ways that I'm starting to think, things to add to my business. I don't want to lose the joy and the things that I love about my business, like thrift store shopping and clothing, but I want to find ways to add to it so that I can do about the same amount of work as one individual without employees at a warehouse, but make more money. So that's a number of things. I want to just end with a few things that I'm looking at as ways to grow my business in the future, but I haven't quite done yet. Another thing that I see a lot of resellers doing that they're having a ton of success with is selling to ThredUp. I personally buy a lot from ThredUp, rescue boxes, and from their store online, but I haven't sent items to ThredUp. So that's an area of growth for me, and you might consider looking into that. People are making a lot of money rather than photographing it themselves and listing it on Mercari or eBay or Depop or whatever. They're sending it right into ThredUp. ThredUp does the listing, so that's a time saver, and then they earn money when things sell on ThredUp. So that's an area of growth that you could look into, or I might look into. I'm also doing some research, like I said, about where to start building relationships to get maybe more wholesale or liquidation stuff, and maybe pallets, which is buying more quantity. And something I've learned, I haven't done this yet, but my research has showed me, is you don't have to get these enormous pallets, you know, and have it freight delivered to your door. A lot of people don't have a space where they can get a giant pallet to open up and process it, but you can get smaller pallets, like half pallets. There's also services that some of these pallet wholesale liquidation sellers offer where they will box up your pallet into smaller boxes so it's a little bit more digestible and manageable, and they'll ship it ground so you don't have like a freight shipping come right to your house or wherever it is you're working. So these are things to look into. I think it's important to look ahead at how you could grow, how your business might change. It keeps it interesting. It keeps the possibility of making more money open to you. These are just some of my thoughts, things that I'm starting to think about and experiment with and research. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment. This is not an all-inclusive video. There's no possible way I could have touched on all the things that we could possibly be doing to scale up, but these are some of them. So definitely stay with me on my journey so that we can learn together. And what have you learned about how to grow and scale? If you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them in the YouTube video so that other people can read them and learn too. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, guys. Bye.
Yeah, hello. You right there. You gotta punch that subscribe button like this. Boom! Like, no, don't punch it like that. Punch it like this. Boom! Yeah, you gotta. And don't forget to like and turn on the notifications like you need to. Yeah. So make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. And yeah.